Hello, proud members of the Dragon Kingdom. How are you doing today? Today, I want to talk to you guys about an idea-esque thing that I've been thinking about for quite a little bit. It's something that a lot of other people have been talking about, which is fan ideas on what would happen to Infinite and an epilogue to Sonic Forces. Something a little extra, and what they interpret the character Infinite would behave after the events of the game. And I thought I'd throw in my 2 cents and tell you guys how I would envision Infinite if Sega were to choose to bring him back, or how I would continue his story, so to speak, to better flesh out the character. And I'm going to show you guys some examples of what I mean. So firstly, I'm going to show you guys a fan comment called Scars. A certain creator went and decided to actually make an epilogue to Sonic Forces, something to add on to his story. The person that created it was by Anik on DeviantArt. Please don't hate me because I went on DeviantArt for this, but still, basically how the story goes is Gadget, or your custom character, goes off to find Infinite because he feels that something's not right with the way things played out.
Impossible. I cannot be defeated.
Wrong, loser. The things that can't be defeated are heart, soul, and the bonds of friendship. 3 things you and your counterfeit cronies lack.
No, wait. I can still fight.
Huh?
You never fail to surprise me, Sonic. I didn't believe Infinite could lose. Victory will be so much sweeter when I defeat you. Don't think this is over yet, you blue nuisance. My plan just went into overtime.
Feels that somehow Infinite is still around, and he is in this story in which he no longer has the Phantom Ruby. He loses. He goes to Eggman all upset and pissed by the events on how he failed to beat Sonic even using the Phantom Ruby, and goes off to attack him and gets sent to die out in the desert by Metal Sonic with Eggman's command. But the custom character goes, finds him, heals his wounds, and goes off to find the rest of the Jackal Squad, which is the original team of Infinite. And Infinite refers to himself as his real name, which people believe is Zero, but I think that was the name for the original idea for Infinite before his name became Infinite. And it's an interesting take. It makes Infinite become from a villain to like an anti-hero, and I do like the way they did it, but it's not how I would envision Infinite. There's also another fan comic that also delves into this kind of ending where your custom character helps Infinite recover and all that stuff, but I don't feel Infinite, at least when I played the game, the way he was portrayed. I don't think that making him an anti-hero would fit his character that well. So I thought I'd throw my 2 cents of how I would make Infinite if he were to return in a future game. And do want to say spoilers for those of you who didn't play Sonic Forces, but whatever, it's fine. Basically, the idea would be that Infinite somehow is still with the Phantom Ruby. Eggman uses it, but he's still with the Phantom Ruby, and doing the idea that the Phantom Ruby is a being itself, where it's manipulating Infinite and not Infinite controlling the Ruby. Now, that was a possibility on Infinite's backstory when we didn't know much about Forces, but I think it would really be better if that were to happen, if they brought back Infinite, keeping him as a villain. Because of this crushing defeat to Sonic and his friends, Infinite will try to master and learn more of the Phantom Ruby to really push himself to his limits to defeat Sonic, but not knowing that the Phantom Ruby is almost like a being itself, in which it uses Infinite to manipulate it, or manipulate him and use him for whatever gains that it may be trying to achieve. I feel like in this way, we can do more with Infinite in him learning about the Phantom Ruby, his obsession on trying to grow stronger as a being, as well as his obsession of trying to defeat Sonic. And he gets to become more of a better expressed character by doing that. We see that his intentions were to actually bring destruction and death, and not just something that was a one-off thing out of left field. We want to explore more about his backstory, not just because he got his ass beat by Shadow, but other things that caused him to be the way he is. As you saw in the fan comic, or not the fan comic, but the official comic from Sega, he went and touched the Phantom Ruby and he saw a destructive, dead world. And I think it would be interesting if we were to see Infinite go and dive into those thoughts more on what caused him to look at the world this way, what caused him to want to be like this. And he wants to learn more of the Infinite Ruby so he can achieve these goals of utter destruction and end of the world that we know it now. But I still think that the buddy thing with the custom hero isn't a good idea for Infinite. I don't see Infinite as an anti-hero at all. I see him as a pure villain being that just wants to end everything, and I want for a story to expand on that and see how far he would go to achieve that goal. Now, as for the Phantom Ruby controlling him, I don't know how we would implement that if that was done, but, or not we, but like if that was done, how it would be implemented. I'm one taking this, I'm not doing this again. Anyway, I think that it would be a lot better if that were to happen. The Phantom Ruby having its own conscience to use its own games to cause the destruction or distortion between worlds, as somehow Classic Sonic is its own dimension because of Mania or Generations. I don't even know. Sonic Timeline is weird. But I think that would fit better because of the fact that the Phantom Ruby kind of behaved on its own in the ending of Mania, and it would continue that kind of plot line in which that the Phantom Ruby is something mysterious we don't know yet or know little of, and that it could actually have a being inside of it, or the gem itself is the being and it just is being used thinking that it was lifeless, but it's actually with a conscious inside of it, or it itself trying to get the upper hand across everybody for its own personal gains. What those gains are, I have no idea, but I think that it would be better if that was executed for the Phantom Ruby and tie up a few loose ends, somehow making sure to understand that the Phantom Ruby that we see in Forces is the same in Mania, but most importantly is Infinite's continuous strive for destruction and death. And since he has a vendetta with Sonic and Shadow, he can learn to improve himself to beat them. You can even make him do illusions of them to practice for combat and improve on his capabilities as a warrior, as he is a mercenary after all. But I think that would be my 2 cents on how I would expand on Infinite. It's just my thoughts. I would like to know what you guys think on how Infinite should be portrayed if he were to come back at all. You can even get away with not having the Phantom Ruby and somehow Eggman using the rubies to the point that it disappeared. Whatever. Point being is, I want Infinite to be a constant villain. A villain that can return and that can be used multiple times, but not something to downplay like Eggman is. He can be a serious threat and cause things to fall into chaos. But that is my thoughts. I do hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you are new, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.